So, I didn't plan on making this video today, but after today's incident, which confirms to me that I am under surveillance, I had to put this together. That being said, I'll explain what happened to me today, which prompted this video, and will also be documented in my book, Chess Pieces. Further, I will also tell you about 2 other incidents that happened in the recent past, which also confirm the fact that at least on 2 other occasions, I have been followed. Let me preface this by telling you that this morning when I woke up, I said to myself that today is a day to be vigilant and watching. I knew that today would be a perfect day for the occult practitioners of Satanism to carry out another orchestrated satanic event. The reason being is today is 8/24, which connects to the blood sacrifice of Kobe Bryant, since he wore the numbers 8 and 24. 8/24 also connects to Obama, since his birthday is 8/4 and he is number 44. Interestingly enough, recently I saw this movie called Lucky Day. It's pretty gory and there's a lot of profanity in it, but there was also a reference to the number 666, the devil, and the number 8/24.
Unit 666 requesting backup.
You are dead.
This is definitely not by coincidence. That being said, let me tell you about what happened to me today. This morning, like most mornings, I took my dog to the park in order to take him for a walk. I normally take my dog to this park every morning to stretch his legs and to get some exercise as well. The park is only a short drive from my home. Well, after our walk, we got into my truck and I began to drive out of the parking lot. As I'm driving out, I noticed this brand new white Dodge Ram entering into the parking lot because we passed each other heading opposite directions. I was leaving the park and he was coming in. After we passed, I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw him whip into a parking space and then back out and began to follow in the same direction to follow me out of the parking lot. It should be noted that I am always on high alert anytime I leave the house, but especially today because, like I said, the date is 8/24. Situational awareness is a very high priority for me. The reason for this is because I know that there are people out there who seek after me to take my life in an effort to silence me because of the work that I do for the Most High. I've been followed several times in the past, once at this very same park. I'll tell you about each of those incidents in a moment. Anyway, now that I know this guy is attempting to follow me, I drive towards the exit of the park, but before you get to the exit, there's a space where you can make a left turn to re-enter the park. Instead of exiting, I made the left turn and re-entered the park. As I turned, I looked in my rear view, and immediately I knew that my actions had taken the guy driving the white Ram by surprise. In response to my turn, he just stopped in the middle of the road that exits the park, right next to the place where I made the left turn to re-enter the park. He just sat there in the middle of the road, not sure what to do as he watched where I was headed. I went back into the park and quickly parked in a parking space so that I could get out of my truck to take a picture of his vehicle. He then exited the park out onto the street and then proceeded to make a U-turn to re-enter the park. He then started to head in the same direction where I was now parked. Here is a picture of him re-entering the park for the second time. Now remember, this guy was entering the park as I was leaving. He then turned around to follow me out, and when I decided to go back into the park, he turned around once again to follow me back inside. This is obviously not normal behavior. He was clearly following me. I then jumped back into my vehicle and started heading towards the exit, the same exit where he was entering. I knew this would allow me to pass directly next to him as he was entering, so I took out my phone to take video of him as he was entering the park for the second time. Also, I wanted him to know that I was recording him. Here's the video.
Yeah, I see you.
After I passed him, as he kind of just sat there at the stop sign, looking confused and trying to halfway cover his face, I exited the park and went home. He didn't follow me because I believe he knew that his cover had been blown and he had been recorded.
All eyes on me.
On another occasion, at this very same park, I was also followed once again. Here are the details. On June 4th, 2020, the guy you see on this motorcycle drove into the parking lot of the park I frequent only moments after I had parked my truck. He went around to the side of the building and sat there for a moment. I took a picture of him because this was the second time he had done the exact same thing in only a matter of days. The first time was only a few days before this incident. On this day, when he saw me take the picture, he kind of sat there in disbelief, like he didn't know what to do because I had caught him off guard. He then backed up his motorcycle and left. He did the exact same thing the day before. He pulled into the parking lot a few minutes after me, went to the side of the building, parked for a few seconds, looked at me, backed up, and then left. Here's a close-up picture of the individual that was following me. On June 16th, 2020, at approximately 8 a.m., while I was on my way to the same park to walk my dog, a strange thing occurred. As I was approaching a stoplight en route to the park, a gray Chrysler Sebring convertible with a black top cut in front of me at the light. My spirit immediately warned me that something wasn't right with this vehicle and the person driving it. I then noticed that the license plate was a Freemasonic license plate. I decided to get from behind the vehicle, which was now headed east, so I got in the right turning lane. As soon as I did, the wheels of the vehicle turned to the right so that he could get into the right turning lane after me. Again, I thought this was odd since he just cut in front of me from the right turning lane in order to head east in the same direction that I was going. Now, all of a sudden, he wanted to turn right and head south. Once again, to be going in the same direction that I was headed. When I passed by the vehicle, I looked inside and noticed that there was only one person in the car, the driver, and I actually recognized him. It was the same guy I had seen at the park on the motorcycle. Finally, I'll share one more story about being followed. Interestingly enough, this occurred on the day that Kobe Bryant died. I was en route to an event at a former professional athlete's home. Just before I got there, a vehicle pulled up along the driver's side of my truck, and the occupant inside was holding his phone in such a way so that he could try and get video or a picture of who was driving my vehicle. Here's video of the incident. Really, who holds a phone like that? The reason for trying to take a picture is simple. An assassin has to positively identify his target before the hit is carried out. We saw examples of this in the last photo of Tupac that was taken on the Las Vegas Strip right before he was shot, or the photo of Nipsey Hussle that was taken in the parking lot of his business right before he was shot. In conclusion, I'm putting this information out there as documentation of what I am presently experiencing in the event that any individual from this point in time or at any point in the future attempts to physically assault me for the purpose of causing great bodily harm, injury, or death. I understand that they are not following me for nothing. What will be, will be. I put my faith in God. I'm prepared. Are you? Amen. Shalom.